Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your boy, the SeanDavieWay Show. Please hit that like and subscribe on the way in and tap that bell if you would like to be notified of all of our future content. Today, I bring you a video on Shannon Harris. Just like we're going to be talking about Jarvis, we're going to bring up Annette Harris and many others that are involved in the disappearance of Neziah Harris, the 13-year-old girl who went missing in January of 2023. There are a lot of inconsistencies inside of this story, especially with the main two people involved, which would be Jarvis and Shannon. Shannon and Annette were the last two people to see Neziah before her meeting up with Jarvis. So I want to point out again the inconsistencies in Shannon's testimony and the things that Shannon has said outside of the court and the police. For those who need a reminder on the case and who's all involved, I'll give you a quick little brief before we move on into the testimony and more.
Warrant request in the case of missing 13-year-old Neziah Harris. It's now under review. No word yet on what the warrant is for. Neziah has been missing since January when she was last seen getting off her school bus at the corner of 3 Mile and Cornwall. Police have searched multiple locations across Metro Detroit, but had not found her. City leaders in Detroit have released a 5-year plan to try and prevent...
that knows anything about my granddaughter. Please contact the police department.
Over 30 days and still no answers. 13-year-old Neziah Harris simply vanishing.
Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record?
Shannon Harris,
And Ms. Harris, how old are you?
31.
And back on January, or in January 2024, where did you live?
With my mom. Resides with my mother,
With your mother? Okay, who's your mom?
Annette Harris,
And without telling me the exact address, what street did you live on?
Bedford.
Side note, I wanted to let this part of the testimony play the beginning so that Shannon could perjure herself. She stated outside of the court that she had her own place. And not only did she have her own place, that she was not staying with her mother at the time of Neziah's disappearance, that she will go over there and hang out, but she had her own place. Case in point, she also stated that with one of the last interviews that her and her sister Marquetta did, when they were kind of ambushed, she stated to Marquetta's boyfriend, which is Shannon's twin sister, that Shannon allowed Marquetta and her boyfriend to live with her at her place around the time that Neziah went missing. So again, that is a lie. Shannon was staying with her mother on Belford Street when Neziah went missing. So the majority of the time that she spent with Jarvis was inside of her mother's home, just like Neziah.
Did Neziah ever know Jarvis through you?
Yes.
Okay. And when did Neziah and Jarvis first meet?
Well, she was little, like age 2.
And can you kind of describe the relationship between Neziah and Jarvis?
Should be just the uncle and the niece relationship, no more than that.
How often would Jarvis be around, like at your house with you?
He will call or say, can he come see the kids, or the kids will ask, can he see their dad? And he will come, pull up either to my house where I used to live or at my mother's house.
Would Neziah ever be around?
All the kids would be around.
To your knowledge, would Neziah ever text Jarvis?
From my knowledge, no, unless I will have her to text.
But to your knowledge, you didn't know of any kind of separate outside relationship?
No.
Side note, so prosecution asked Shannon the backstory on Jarvis and Neziah's relationship, and based off what Shannon saw, how did she feel Jarvis treated Neziah? Shannon says that it was no different than any other uncle-niece relationship, which is not true. Later on in this testimony, Shannon is going to divulge that she found text messages on Neziah's tablet that were very inappropriate, well, more so DMs from Instagram that were very inappropriate, and also that pictures were sent, and she confronted Jarvis about that. So again, she is perjuring herself because when prosecution asked her about the relationship, she could have easily stated that that's how she viewed it at first, and then she started to see things that were inappropriate. Shannon did not do that. This is her once again protecting Jarvis. Another thing to notate, prosecution asked Shannon, did Jarvis and Neziah text each other? Shannon said no, and then said, but. Okay, if she messaged Jarvis at all, even per request of Shannon, because that is what Shannon is saying, Neziah did not text Jarvis unless she requested Neziah do it, means that they did have a relationship outside of you. So that means that she did text Jarvis, not no, but there she goes again, lying and protecting Jarvis.
Would you ever know Neziah to help Jarvis Butts at his shop?
Yes, he will call me and say, hey, if I can get our daughter and Neziah to come and work up at the shop. And I would say, let me ask my mom first regarding Neziah.
Oh. And which daughter of yours would that be?
That would be my oldest, Janiyah.
Okay. Would you ever know Neziah to go to Jarvis's shop alone?
No.
Side note, Shannon states that the only time Neziah went to the shop was with her eldest daughter, whom is also Jarvis Butts' daughter. I find it coincidental that she's not paying attention that Neziah would always be the number one person requested outside of her own children. So again, that leads me to believe that she knew that Neziah would go to the shop with Jarvis alone, even without her daughter. And the reason I state that is because they have 5 children. Why wouldn't Jarvis want to spend time with his own kids instead of spending time with Neziah? He had no reason to be requesting Neziah come to the shop and do any cleaning when he could have had his other children come and do it instead. I am a father myself. If my daughter is close to one of my nieces, that would make sense if I'm going to pick my daughter up and go hang out with her. But I also have another daughter, so I'll just come pick up my own kids. If they wanted their cousin to tag along, per their request, that's fine. But it's not going to be me requesting myself if she could come. I would have my children say, oh, well, if y'all want her to come, then y'all talk to y'all mom or have her talk to her grandma and whatnot and, see if she can. If she can't, that's fine as well. But my time is being spent with y'all. Y'all are my kids. I'm bringing y'all to the shop, to clean and earn money, but also to spend time with you. There was no reason for Jarvis to be spending that much time with Neziah.
Did Jarvis Butts ever tell you that Neziah texted him to meet up on January 9th, 2024?
No.
Did you tell Jarvis Butts about not being able to locate Neziah on January 9th, 2024?
Yes.
And tell me, how did you tell him that?
I called him. He didn't answer. I sent him a message asking him, have he seen Tuda, any whereabouts? And I said no Tuda, and he responded back, oh wow.
I didn't hear what you said, the last part.
Last part, I texted him. Well, at first I called him. He didn't answer. The second time, I sent him a message, still no Tuda. He replied back, oh wow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And you're on a may I approach?
Yes.
And just for record references, I'm showing her what's going to be proposed People's Exhibit 48. Ms. Harris, those text messages that you just referenced, do you see those on this page?
Yes.
Okay. And so it's fair to say you stated to Mr. Butts, well, first of all, whose phone number is this at the top?
The phone number is my old telephone number.
Okay. And who is the phone number below that?
Jarvis Butts.
Okay. And is this, I guess, do these fairly and accurately represent these two messages? 3, 4, 5. 6 messages sent between you and Mr. Butts on January 9th, 2024 through January 11th, 2024.
The first page is, yes, it's correct. Second page is correct. Yes.
Okay. And so on January 9th, like you had indicated before, you had stated that you told him that there was still no tuna.
Correct.
Okay. And you said he responded, oh, wow.
Correct.
Okay. And on January 11th, was Neziah still missing?
Yes.
Okay. And did you ask Mr. Butts to do something?
At this point, I just asked that if she's going to read from the text message, just admit the exhibit.
I
You have an
can.
issue with moving to admit?
No, Judge.
Okay.
Do these fairly and accurately represent text messages between you and your phone to Jarvis and his phone between, well, they start back earlier. Some from December 3rd, 2023 through January 21st of 2024. These fairly and accurately represent text messages between
Yes.
you and your phone to Mr. Butts and his phone?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibit 48. Objection.
Okay, they'll be admitted.
Thank you, Judge. So on January 11th, did you ask Mr. Butts to do something?
Yes.
And what is it that you asked him to do?
I asked him, can he share the missing flyer on his Facebook page?
Okay. And did you send him a copy of that missing flyer?
Yes.
Okay. And
Side note, Shannon says that she did communicate with Jarvis on the 9th of January when Neziah was missing. In those text messages that she has sent to him was more so of a precaution, meaning she knew that Neziah had been with Jarvis. And why I state that is because they have plenty of family and there's other places that Neziah would travel and go to. Why would she feel the need to reach out to Jarvis and ask Jarvis if Jarvis had seen Neziah if Neziah was not allowed to be alone with Jarvis, nor was Jarvis taking Neziah anywhere alone? Why would she feel a need to reach out to him at all? Reached out to him because she knew that Neziah had been with him and that it would be very suspect if she didn't say something to anybody that had ever been with her or traveled with her. And she knew that there was witnesses to state that Neziah had been with him, including King, anybody that was at the auto body shop, and on and so forth. So she knew she had to cover her tracks by reaching out to Jarvis, more so of a guilty conscience speaking versus I'm just worried about her and just asking any and everybody if they've seen her.
Yes.
okay. And can you read these last 3 messages?
These last 3 messages is to be honest, these messages I seen into the inbox to you, I really don't know what to believe anymore. Stay away, Ramon, I mean it. The next message is I don't know what to say, or to his own. Since this shit doesn't sit right with me, call it what you want, I'm good, period. It says this for life. Nigga, I thought about it, and you can pass it.
And
And don't call me, no need to explain shit. I already see it.
Okay. So you were referencing some messages that you saw in Tada's inbox.
Correct.
Tell me, how did you see some messages? Well, first of all, where were these messages, where were they at?
The day of,
There's more proof of Shannon perjuring herself and lying and acting as if she did not know what was going on with Jarvis and Neziah. The prosecution has Shannon read messages that she sent to Jarvis about Neziah and stating that she didn't know what to believe and, basically F Jarvis and on and so forth. The problem isn't that she is trying to make it seem as if she doesn't know what to believe or, this man that she trusted, blah, blah, blah. Here's the problem. She states that she was reading the messages inside of Neziah's tablet because this is where she found these alleged DMs between Jarvis and Neziah that made her feel like something was probably going on, but she believed Jarvis more than she believed what she saw with her own eyes. Shannon makes it seem as if she did not check the tablet until the police were coming to retrieve the tablet. I believe Shannon is lying. I believe she read those messages a long time ago, before Shannon knew anything about the pregnancy and whatnot. She was already looking at the messages between Neziah and Jarvis. Again, she stated that she would have Neziah text Jarvis. So they have an open line of communication now, from text now numbers, from DMs on Instagram, and on and so forth. The problem is she did not say anything to anyone besides Jarvis. When she found those messages, she should have alerted authorities immediately that there was something going on between her niece and Jarvis. She did not do that. Instead, she confronted Jarvis, yelled at him, and showed that she was angry about what she had found. Not that she was angry because she knew that he had to have something to do with her niece disappearing. No, because this again is after Neziah was missing that she says that she found these messages. She did not alert police. So if she did not alert police about the messages that she found, what else did she not alert the police about?
Officer Gardner came to pick up Neziah's tablet. My mom asked me to put it on the charger. I put it on the charger. Officer Gardner, after that, Officer Gardner called and said she's on her way.
Hearsay. Without saying what.
Okay, I'm sorry. The officer had called and said that they was on their way to come
Still
pick up
hearsay?
the tablet.
Okay, so,
Sustained as far as hearsay.
yes, thank you, Judge. Okay, continue.
So before the tablet was picked up, I looked inside to this tablet. She has 2 passwords that I normally know. So one of them is referenced for her brother's birthday, and the other one is referenced from my password. So I put the first password in, it didn't work. So I put the second password in. So the first thing I went to was Instagram, which I was scrolling. And I seen Jarvis Butt's Instagram page. I clicked on his page and I seen 2 messages.
Okay, and what were the messages that you saw? Who were they between, first of all?
Neziah, my niece, and Jarvis.
Okay, and what were the messages that you seen?
It was roughly 2 messages that I have seen that I can recall. States.
I'm going to object to this as hearsay. They have not been admitted, and the messages themselves would be the evidence.
Were they of were the messages of a sexual nature?
No.
Okay, and you said you saw 2 messages?
Yes.
Okay, did you see anything else?
It was two sent pictures, but you can't really make anything out. It wasn't nothing there, but it was a picture was sent.
Okay. What did seeing those messages, what did they cause you to do?
Well, when I see no messages, I called him.
Who's
and Jarvis Butts.
Okay.
Called him while he was at work, asked him, what is these messages I seen between you and my niece? And he said, what messages? So there's 2 particular messages that states out and there's a picture. And he stated that, I don't know, these messages, I told him what the messages were, and he said it was probably our children was messaging him. And I stated no, because I know how our children will text.
To add insult to injury with this situation, Jarvis's lawyer objected to part of what Shannon was saying about this situation due to hearsay when it came to the messages on Instagram and the pictures that Neziah had allegedly sent Jarvis. That means that they don't have any proof of it, that this is coming from Shannon. So you know what that means? Shannon deleted the messages that Neziah had sent Jarvis and that they had in between each other because it wouldn't be viewed as hearsay. Just like the text messages that the prosecution is handing to Shannon, that's not hearsay because there's proof. Here we have in our hand the conversation that you and Jarvis had, not you trying to think back on the conversation or try to recollect what you may have said or what Jarvis may have said. No, it's right here in front of us. But the conversation that Jarvis and Neziah had on Instagram that Shannon said that she saw that made her react to Jarvis like that to basically curse him out, that is gone. So that means she deleted it before she gave it to the police because the police do not have that information. There Shannon goes again, perjuring herself and protecting Jarvis. There is a reason that she is protecting Jarvis. Let's get into this next clip.
At all. I did that. This is when I found out I was pregnant. I took the pregnancy test and I asked her how long you pregnant. I said it's two arms but one's fake. Yeah. So she did. So I'm going to the pregnancy test. This is me, Shannon. I don't want to be.
Again, outside of the courtroom, here Shannon goes again, admitting things that she did not say to prosecution nor the police. During this conversation with Roxy, Shannon admits that her and Neziah were basically pregnant at the same time because they were taking pregnancy tests. Now, what has not been confirmed was the year. This was either year of 2022 or the year of 2023. Because in 2022, Shannon had a child. And in 2023, this is the last time that people knew Neziah to be pregnant due to the searches that Jarvis was doing on Google about antifreeze and on and so forth. So again, this is her protecting herself and protecting Jarvis. Shannon knows exactly what happened to Neziah, and Shannon knows exactly where Neziah is. This is another reason why the police and CPS removed Shannon's children from her. And they also just removed the other adopted children that Annette has from her as well, because they have proof that Shannon and Annette knew what was going on in the household. And rumor has it that another one of Annette's adopted children, one of the females that was in the home, was being SA'd by Jarvis as well. And that is new information that is coming out as of recently. And another charge that may be added on to Jarvis's case. I love you all. I hope you enjoyed. This is part 1. We will be back with part 2, breaking down the rest of this testimony before we drift into Annette Harris and Jarvis Butts. Bye.
So, Shannon, I want to take you back to January 9th. Were you home that day?
Yes.
Okay. And did you see Neziah that day?
My senior did that morning, correct.
Okay. And do you remember what she was wearing at all?
Her coat and her uniform at the time, she had on some blue jeans. I don't really recall the outfit. I just know the coat she had on.
And what was the coat that she had on?
She had on, it was a 90s coat with all the characters on it.
Okay. And you recall seeing her wearing that the morning of January 9th?
Correct.
And Your Honor, may I approach people's already admitted Exhibit 2?
Yes.
I'm going to show you people's Exhibit 2. Can you tell me, do you recognize a coat in this photo?
Yes.
And whose coat do you recognize that to be?
Neziah's.
Okay. Now, after you were... When you saw Neziah that morning, what did you do the rest of the morning?
Nothing. I was at home with my mom and my 2 children.
And do you ever leave the house at any point that day?
No. I was at the house the whole entire day.
Okay. And do you know what time Neziah would normally get home from school?
On certain days, she will stay for after school, and then on certain days she will come home. The days she will stay for after school is 6. And the days that she don't, it's at 3 o'clock.
Okay. And on January 9th, do you know if Neziah had the after-school program?
Yes. At that time, my mom took her out of the after-school program. So she will come home directly at 3 o'clock.
Okay. And were you home at 3 o'clock?
Yes.
And did you see Neziah come home?
No.
Okay. And did you see her come home at all the rest of the night?
No.
Okay. Did you leave at any point after 3 o'clock?
No.
Okay. Did you, yes, when Neziah didn't come home, did that cause you to experience or feel any type of way?
It did. When she didn't come home is when my mom went to go pick up the other 2 children from the after-school program. They knocked on the door and they had asked a question and said,
Objection. Sounds like hearsay.
What's that? You have a response or?
A question isn't hearsay technically.
I think she said.
It's just a question.
I'm
Yes.
just getting ready to say a question. Okay,
What was
finish
the
what
question?
you're
What was the question?
the 2 children had asked me, Mom said,
That's the hearsay.
did
Mom-
Neziah come home?
The hearsay is mom said.
Okay, so were you asked directly whether Neziah came home?
So my mom was still in the car, I was inside the house. They was coming to the house, walking up to the door. When I opened the door, they asked me, Mom said, did Neziah come home? I said, no.
Okay. And was Neziah home at all?
No.